materials are inside the tube thing? Yes, they are usually metals that are electrical conductors. They have freely moving electrons that can transfer thermal energy quickly and easily. Examples are silver, gold, and copper. The opposite of allowing is preventing, right? Yes, these are materials that prevent the energy flow. We call this as insulators, meaning insulators or electrical insulators prevent electrons from moving through a substance. This keeps electricity on the correct and most efficient path in our homes. Rubber, wood, and plastics are good electrical insulators. Thermal insulators are used to prevent the flow of heat. What do you think are the materials used in this image? What does it show? Yes, this is a mixture of oil and water. This shows that oil is less dense than water because less dense substance floats. What do you see? Yes, this process is called acidification, brought by the emission of carbon dioxide by human activities. When carbon dioxide reacts with water in the ocean, it produces a carbonic acid that leads to lowering of the water's pH, making the ocean more acidic. Acidic solutions have a greater concentration of hydrogen ions than the basic solutions. Same thing as saying with a very low pH is acidic, while solutions having high pH are alkaline. Acidic solutions can be found at home, such as hydrochloric acid, soda, and coffee. In the setup of houses we have in our place, it is not surprising that fire incident is very evident. Fire was caused by combustible materials and also flammable liquids. Flammable liquid fires burn very fast. They also give off a lot of heat and often clouds of thick, black, toxic smoke. Examples of flammable materials are gasoline and alcohol. Add up to wood as a combustible material. What we have in this image is a very reactive system. Reactivity is a chemical property. It is a substance's tendency to undergo chemical reaction, either by itself or with other materials such as when reacting to heat, pressure, friction, catalysts, and contact with air or water. After the reaction, an energy is released, which is called as an exothermic reaction. These chemical reactions are evident to some examples like when sodium dissolved in water, zinc in hydrochloric acid, and potassium permanganate in glycerol. Let us try to visit a machinery and see how materials are turned into sheets. Wow! Making things possible! Turning materials into sheets is a malleable material. Examples of malleable materials are aluminum turning into foil, copper into copper cathode, and iron into galvanized and corrugated iron sheets that we use in our roof. Have you wondered how metals are turned into thin wires, even how hard they are? Watch the given image that shows how metals could be possibly turned into wires. These wires are used as fence, electrical, and construction purposes like iron wire, copper wire, and aluminum wire. Oil spill is rampant nowadays. At home, we always use oil in cooking. See the image and how we could distinguish oil from water. Yes, some materials are miscible and immiscible. A way on how we could distinguish a material from the other is through their solubility. Solubility is the ability of a substance to be dissolved in a given substance. This is an interesting image which shows the three phases of a substance that coexist at equilibrium. So melting points and boiling points are temperatures at which material changes its phase. Different materials boil and melt at different temperatures, like water, butter, and alcohol that we use now during the pandemic coronavirus. The question of will ethane be dissolved in water? It could only be answered if you know what is polarity. Be familiar also with like dissolves like. Obviously, this image says no. Ethane will not form a hydrogen bond or ionic bond with water or any other polar molecules because it is nonpolar. Polarity of the substance is related to solubility, boiling and melting points, and intermolecular attractions between molecules. What property of matter is shown? Yes, it's elasticity. Elasticity is the tendency of a material to return to its original form or shape after being stretched. Examples are spring toy, hair scrunches, and rubber bands. A property of material that causes the gradual destruction by chemical reaction, such as strong acids, oxidizers, and bases, is known as corrosiveness. Most corrosive materials are either acids or bases. Common acids include hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid. And common bases are ammonium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and sodium hydroxide. These properties of matter could be classified as either chemical